my name is Nani and welcome to my channel where I share with you my top tips on how to look good, feel good, and smell good from the inside out. In today's video, we're talking all about smelling good. And of course, as you guys can tell by the title, I wanted to go ahead and compare two fragrances from my collection that I feel like are very similar. And I want to go ahead and share with you guys what the similarities are. The fragrances that I'm talking about are going to be Carolina Herrera Good Girl, and then of course the Viva La Juicy Gold Couture. So I'll share with you guys my thoughts on what the similarities and the differences are, and at the end I will make sure to recommend one out of the two fragrances as well that you should have in your collection. Of course, if you guys love talking about fragrances in general and you love talking about products, make sure that you go ahead and give me a big thumbs up, and of course subscribe to my channel for more. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alrighty, so jumping right into this video, of course, I wanted to go ahead and just give you guys my thoughts on each of these fragrances. And then of course, as I mentioned at the end, I will make sure to recommend one out of the two fragrances. And I just want to go ahead and just read off the notes to you for each of these fragrances and also share with you guys the notes that are similar between the two. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with Carolina Herrera Good Girl. This is probably a fragrance that you already have in your collection, or you've probably heard a lot of people raving about. And I just want to go ahead and start off with this one. So the notes for this one, at the top, there's lemon, bergamot, coffee, and almond. The middle is jasmine, orris, tuberose, Bulgarian rose, orange blossom. And then the base has tonka, cacao, sandalwood, vanilla, praline, cedar, cinnamon, cashmere wood, patchouli, amber, and musk. So there are definitely a heap of notes in this fragrance, but there's some of them that I feel like didn't really need to be in there, to be honest with you, because they're just really not prominent notes at all. But I do feel like all of the notes definitely add to the uniqueness of this scent. But I just wanted to mention to you guys really quickly the notes that are similar amongst the two fragrances, and that's going to be jasmine, sandalwood, vanilla, and amber. So they each have those notes in them. So starting off with this Carolina Herrera Good Girl, I feel like if I had to describe this scent, I would definitely say that she is definitely very sexy, she's flirtatious, she's very confident in herself, and she's very like fun and lighthearted. That's pretty much what I think of when I smell and use and wear this fragrance. It's a very confident, sexy type of scent. It's not too in your face, but it still definitely makes itself known, if that makes sense. In terms of the notes that are most prominent, what I find is that in the opening, I have the smaller version so the actual heel comes off, but I do find that in the opening, it definitely does have a fresh opening because of the lemon and the bergamot notes, but it's not a freshness to where it smells like an aquatic fragrance. So I do enjoy that, just because I feel like it helps to transition into all of the other notes that are most prominent in the actual fragrance itself. Now, to me, the notes that are definitely the most prominent in this fragrance, and at least on my skin, are going to be the cacao, the coffee, you'll get the vanilla, you'll get the sandalwood, and you'll also get the patchouli and musk. That's pretty much all I get. I don't really, and I feel like that's why I'm like, I don't know why they have all the other notes around it. And you will also get a little bit of an amber note, but I feel like the amber and the vanilla definitely play off of each other to give it a very kind of like creamy, sticky sweetness to the scent, but it's definitely not overly done in this fragrance. I feel like this is definitely more of one of those fragrances that I would consider to be more of like a darker floral. There's something that's dark about this scent. It's very sexy, it's very seductive, it's very flirty, like I mentioned before. The sandalwood, the musk, definitely gives this fragrance a lot of character. It gives it a little bit more of an edgy type of nature to the scent. It's very kind of like powerful in that sense as well. And then of course you get the vanilla, you get the cacao as well as the coffee. I feel like they are very well balanced and just kind of like very well infused with each other. So I really love the way that the cacao note as well as the coffee note kind of play on with each other, just because I feel like if you add too much of those particular notes, it can go either gourmand or it can smell a little bit too dusty, a little bit more earthy. This scent definitely does not lean that way at all. I feel like it's definitely a really great blend between all of the notes, especially the ones that are most prominent to me and on my skin. The vanilla and the sandalwood definitely gives it a little bit of a creaminess, a little bit of a smoothness to the scent, but it's still very sexy and bold. And I do feel like I get a hint of the praline, but not so much of the praline, but I do get mostly the vanilla and the sandalwood, they kind of play really well with each other. And you also do get a little bit of the cashmere notes in here as well, which just adds a little bit more of a sensuality to the scent. And I feel like it just helps to soften up its rough edges, if that makes sense. I feel like this is definitely still a very feminine, but still a very powerful and bold scent, if that makes sense. So on my skin, once this fully dries down, it's definitely sweet, it's rich, it's fragrant, it's musky, it's definitely mature, and like I mentioned, it's very confident, very sexy, very bold, very powerful type of scent, but it's still very sensual and feminine all at the same time. Very, very flirtatious scent. There's something about this that just, to me, I just think of a woman that's a flirt. She's very confident, she knows herself, she knows her body, she knows what she likes and does not like. She's definitely outspoken about that. And I just really love this scent. I just feel like this scent definitely makes me kind of like tap into my femme fatale vibes. There's something about this scent that just really does it for me. So again, this is a very popular scent, and I feel like a lot of people probably have this in their collection already. Of course, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, just like anything else, but I do feel like this is a really nice scent, a very bold, sexy, powerful scent for a night out, girls' night out, going out with your man, you know, up close encounters type of thing. This is a very, very nice scent to go to. So again, that's going to be Carolina Herrera, Good Girl. And we're just gonna go ahead and switch gears and talk about this one, which is Viva La Juicy Gold Couture. I feel like from the packaging, you just can tell just the level of maturity amongst the two. I feel like the packaging is very nice for this one as well, but it's a little bit gaudy, it's a little bit more young, more playful, and I feel like that's the way that I would definitely describe this scent. It's a little bit more youthful, it's a little bit more playful, but at the same time, I do feel like the scent definitely still packs a punch. But there are, again, some differences amongst the two. So just to read off the notes for this one has in the top notes wild berries, it has jasmine in the middle, it has honeysuckle, and then the base is amber, vanilla, caramel, and sandalwood. So it does have some similar notes in it as well. And it comes to this one, you definitely get the fruitiness from the wild berries, and I feel like that's kind of what differentiates the two fragrances, just because I feel like the wild berries just add a little bit more of a youthful nature to the scent. The only thing that I will say off the bat though is that this one does smell synthetic. It does smell very, very synthetic. Like there's something about it that you have to really wait for this scent to fully dry down on your skin for you to get kind of like the full scent, I guess, the full fragrance itself. So that's one thing that I don't like, and I feel like that's definitely a difference between the two, is that in the opening, this definitely smells very synthetic, and it takes a while for it to kind of like dry down on your skin. I feel like the synthetic, plasticky type of nature definitely kind of like lingers throughout the time that you're on your skin, but it kind of like softens up the longer that it lingers on your body. So that's one thing that I will tell you off the bat, is that this one definitely smells synthetic, a little bit plasticky, a little bit cheaper. So that is one thing that I will say, at least on my skin, I definitely get kind of like that nature of it. But again, as I mentioned, the wild berries in the top definitely is one that gives this scent a little bit more of a youthful type of nature, a little bit more fun, a little bit more playful type of nature to it. And I feel like this makes it to where more people would really enjoy it. So I feel like from, you know, maybe 18 and up, you'll probably really enjoy this scent just because it's not overly sexy. I feel like the fruitiness just makes it a little bit, it just calms down the sexy just a little bit. It's still a very nice scent. I feel like in the opening, you definitely get pretty much kind of like a burst of all of the notes. I feel like this is probably more of a linear fragrance. I feel like the way that it begins is pretty much the way that it lingers on your body. So you'll get pretty much the notes of the wild berries from the opening. You'll get the amber notes, you'll get the vanilla, you'll get the sandalwood notes as well in there. So it's sweet, it's fruity, it's a little bit floral, it's a little bit powdery, it has a little bit of a creaminess to it as well. So you get a very similar element to the scent itself, but the wild berries are definitely prominent throughout the whole time that it's on your skin. So it doesn't transition into just the base notes. You'll definitely get that lingering kind of like wild berries at the top of every stage essentially. So that's one thing that I will say, and I feel like that's what makes it and gives it a little bit more of a youthful, playful nature. And once the scent actually dries down, I do get more of the vanilla and the caramel notes, a little bit more of the amber notes as well, but I don't get too much of the sandalwood. It definitely doesn't have like a strong sandalwood, like woody type of scent to it. I definitely get more of the creaminess from the vanilla, the caramel notes. It's more of like a sweetness, more fragrant, more aromatic the longer that it actually dries down on your skin. I feel like because of the fact that this isn't as rich or deep or sexy as the Carolina Herrera Good Girl, I feel like it makes it kind of like a good balance between a gourmand and an everyday scent. So I feel like it makes it a little bit more versatile as well. So you can wear it for more occasions, but this is also a really great fragrance for like date night. This is also a good fragrance for like up close encounters, Netflix and chill. It's a more kind of like softer version of the Carolina Herrera Good Girl. It gives you similar vibes, but it's not overly done. And I feel like the fruitiness definitely gives it a little bit more of a playful, more youthful nature to the scent, and just makes it, like I mentioned, a little bit more wearable year round. And you can transition this scent as well from daytime to nighttime. So that's gonna be pretty much my thoughts on this one. But if I had to recommend one of them between the two scents, I honestly feel like a lot of people would probably gravitate towards this one a little bit more just because it's more mass appealing. Again, because of the fruity notes in there, but I honestly would probably recommend more of the Carolina Herrera Good Girl. I understand that a lot of people, there are some people that don't necessarily like this scent, and I feel like if you are someone that don't like this scent, then I would say definitely test this out, just because I feel like it'll give you a similar vibe, but the fruitiness to this scent definitely gives it a little bit more of a playful, more youthful, more versatile type of element to the scent. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more seductive, more sexy, more confident, more powerful, more bold, and just kind of like more of an in-your-face, I know I'm sexy type of scent, then I would definitely say pick up the Carolina Herrera Good Girl. You'll probably really enjoy this scent. And what I love is that you can layer these scents as well with everything. I've layered them with so many different fragrances just to create my own combination if you want to tone it down or if you want to intensify it as well. So again, that's going to be my recommendation, would be this one. If you are looking for something a little bit more richer and more in your face, sexy, I would definitely say Carolina Herrera Good Girl. But if you've already tested this out and it doesn't work with your body chemistry or you're not really impressed by it, then I would definitely recommend that you test this one out. I feel like you might really enjoy this one instead, just because the fruity notes, like I mentioned, definitely give it a little bit more of a playful, kind of like softer type of edge to it. So those are going to be pretty much my final thoughts on these two. If you guys have both of them in your collection, let me know which one you prefer the most. Let me know if you kind of smell a little bit of the similarities between the two as well. Just let me know what your thoughts are down below. And of course, if you guys like this type of content, make sure that you go ahead and give me a big thumbs up. Of course, make sure that you guys subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I hope you guys are staying safe. God willing, I'll see you guys next time.